Welcome back to Aristeia 99. Today we'll be talking about the basic tactics. In every game of Aristeia, you'll be assembling a deck of tactics cards based on the basic 10 tactics that every team gets, and a combination of tactics based on your team members. Today we're just going to be covering the basic tactics. Tactics, or tactic cards technically, are cards that can basically modify the game in terms of what's going on moment to moment. In your basic tactics deck, you're going to find 2 dodge cards, 2 take aim cards, 2 focus cards, a no card, fortune favors the badass, catch your breath, and sticking to the plan. Now, what are these? You're going to find that throughout every game, there's going to be times when you need a little something more than what your characters and what the dice you have available can provide. If you look at the tactics cards, you can think of them as power-ups or single-use special abilities. These can modify dice rolls predominantly, but there are a few extras as well. Now, if you remember our Aristeia 99 dice, as well as our Aristeia 99 reading the character card, these were kind of foundational for what you're trying to look at here. So when you're looking through the cards, you'll notice that 6 of them add dice. The dodge cards add blue dice to your roll. The take aim cards add orange dice to your roll, and your focus cards will add yellow dice to your roll. Now it's worth pointing out there is a hard limit on dice. You can have no more than 3 of any given color when you are making your roll. So for instance, a character like Valkyrie can get up to 3 blue dice when she's defending or attacking any number of things. And from that point on, she cannot add any more blue dice. Likewise, Miyamoto Musashi has a tactics card that allows him to add 3 black dice to his roll. From that point on, he would not be able to add any more black dice. So you need to remember that when you're considering what you're trying to do. In addition, the different dice will affect different rolls in different ways. The dodge roll adding a blue is primarily a defensive tactics card. When you're trying to avoid being hit, the dodge card is the one you probably want to use. Likewise, take aim adds an orange die, which is an offensive die. And obviously, you'd want to use that when you're trying to increase your chances of success. I should note that, yes, it is an offensive die, but think of it in terms of adding more successes. So a character like Pavarti or Hexer would benefit from take aim because their abilities trigger upon successes. Likewise, the focus die is sort of the switch die, the jack of all trades die there. Some characters, such as Musashi and Maximus, have switches that benefit from the exclamation point, the exclamation mark, the special result on a die. Now that is when you'd want to use a focus die. On top of that, there's a couple of other tactics cards that you'll want to consider. Fortune favors the badass allows you to re-roll 1 of your dice. Now, this is great when you get a roll that is suboptimal by just 1 die. Say, for instance, you're rolling a red or a green, and you unfortunately draw nothing, or the results, you only get 1 of what you're looking for. It's a great way to turn a blank die into something that might actually help you. The next card you would want to look at as well is Catch Your Breath. Draw 2 tactics is always a great thing, because primarily when you're dealing with your tactics, tactics represent options. These are things that you can do. Speaking of which, Stick to the Plan is another great card, and this allows you to search your deck for a tactics card and put it into your hand. That's very powerful. You also then shuffle your deck, then each player draws one tactic. So you actually get 2 cards from that. The last card we need to immediately mention, however, is No. This is a card that allows you to stop the effect of a tactics card. Now, the funny thing about No, however, is you can no a no. So you do need to be careful when using it. If a card is important enough to play, it might be worth hitting no with. But if the other player's not used their no card and it's that important, they might just know your no. It's a little amusing, it can be a little bit tricky. Now, when you look at the cards, they're going to have their name, but there's going to be below the picture, there'll be a little stopwatch. This indicates the timing of the card and when it can be used. For many of the tactics cards in the basic deck, you'll be looking at, before making a roll, use the tactics card. So you cannot roll your dice, then decide, oh, I need one more little thing, then play a tactics card. You need to decide and commit to it beforehand. No is only played after a tactics card played by an opponent, and it's before applying the effects. If you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, this would be a very blue card right here. Fortune Favors the Badass is played before a roll's critical and switches phase. The reason for this is it has the potential to change things and how they do. You cannot roll the dice, do the critical effects, you cannot apply the switches, then decide I'm going to re-roll a die. The timing is very important on all of these things. Catch your breath and stick to the plan at the beginning of any character's activation. And actually, that's for catch your breath. Stick to the plan is at the beginning of your character's activation. And that's a very important distinction. So catch your breath could be played at any time. So when you look at, say, that and no, the two of them can be reactive. No, totally reactive. It has to be played in reaction to something, but catch your breath can be, but doesn't have to be. Now, what's the big deal with these? Because very often you're going to find you need an extra push at any time during the game. Maybe you need to get that one success. Maybe you need to make that one disengage. Maybe you need to prevent a disengage. Maybe you're trying to get a little extra damage or get past something, a state, for instance, that's causing you problems. The tactics give you quick little power-ups that you draw, play, then discard, and helps keep the game moving. What's really fun is once you get the hang of these cards and know what it is and how they affect things, you can start also looking at your character's tactic cards and see, hey, how can these synergize? How can you make combinations? A simple combination, for instance, would be to play Stick to the Plan at the beginning of your turn, look for Catch Your Breath that allows you to draw 2 tactics, and then, of course, you get to draw another card from Stick to the Plan, then immediately play Catch Your Breath. In that one process there, you've just drawn 4 tactics cards, giving yourself a lot of options. Likewise, using Stick to the Plan to go searching for no is probably really important if you are dealing with an enemy that's got very powerful tactics cards. Likewise, if you see someone going Stick to the Plan, you know they're looking for something specific. Playing no right then and there can possibly stop a lot of headaches later on. So that's it for this week. Again, this was just the 4 tactics cards that make up every Aristeia deck. Now, in the future, Corpse Belly has said they're going to be introducing new standard cards, and I'm actually looking forward to those. Now, whether they supersede the core set or if they're an additional option remains to be seen, but I think they'll be interesting nevertheless. Give us a comment down below. Let us know what you'd like to see next in Aristeia 99. And Chikahiro signing off from Maui.